direction. Just look around and find at least something good. All you need will come to you. I'll never end your stare.
Welcome back to Two Canadians at Kafe Lise, a Vigor podcast, episode 15. Today we're going to be talking about zero to hero runs. I'm your host, Dr. Anton, and with me is the other host,
DJ Spencer.
DJ Spencer. You know, one of these days we might get a smooth intro, but I wouldn't count on it. One day.
Maybe episode like 30 or 45.
So give us a couple months, or maybe a bit more than a couple months. But yeah, we're going to be talking about zero to hero runs. We figured it'd be a little bit interesting to talk about. You see people do them on occasion. Some streamers have them as redemptions. So you'll run across it there. They may not call it zero to hero. They may call it like a naked run or something like that. But the concept is you go in naked or nothing. You don't have any chems or any consumables. You don't have any weapons. You just go into a map with nothing and see how good you can do. Similar concepts you might hear out there other than naked runs are rags to riches is another one. I've heard that one more on the Tarkov side, and it's very similar, though you might go in instead of with Tarkov, it'd be more like you'd go in with a pistol. Maybe there are people who go in with nothing. Tarkov at least does have a decent melee system. So you can go in with a melee weapon and have a chance. But we know with Vigor, it's not quite so simple when it comes to melee. But they have a mode called Rags to Riches, and there's a couple of different ways you can do that one, where you can either go in with just a pistol and then you would see how well you do in a run, and then in your next run you could take in anything you got from the previous run, and then you just sort of snowball and go as far as you can, or you could even start as a scav. In Tarkov you would start as a scav, and scavs typically wouldn't have great weapons, but they would have sometimes okay weapons. But you might have like maybe a Mosin or one of the little shotguns, or even a pistol, or a few other different. They sometimes would get fully auto as well. But you start as a scav, and then when you get out of the scav, then you transfer that stuff over to your PMC and then continue on. So that's another concept that you could sort of transfer over to Vigor as well if you really wanted to. Take in a basic weapon, and if you're taking in a basic weapon, don't take a Raffica, because the Raffica is probably one of the best best pistols in the game.
Yeah.
If you really want to do it true, just do it as like a 1911 or a Luger or something.
Yeah, definitely the Luger. I love the Luger.
I never really used it. Yeah.
See, I didn't use it up until the last couple of weeks when we decided we were going to do these zero to hero run episode.
Yeah.
And you find it quite often, and I gotta say it's pretty good. Like the damage per bullet isn't the greatest, but you hit your shots and
yeah,
you get that one headshot.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no, and yeah, in Luger and the 1911 are the two most common pistols you'll find when you're just picking up a pistol. And I also found for rifles, usually it was like the VZ58. On occasion, if you're lucky, I would find like an M2 carbine, or I even found a Mosin once. I wouldn't say I was lucky to find a Mosin, because Mosin's is a slow weapon. You get one shot off, and then it's like a feed act.
It's not bad for like Anikken and stuff like that, like places where you need range. And I found a few Mosins, other ones too that I would find are grease guns and Thompsons too.
Yeah, I actually found a few of those too. You're right. Yeah. So those are the little SMGs you'll find. It's the basic common stuff you'll find.
Pretty much.
Right. I'm just trying to think, had I ever found anything, unless I lucked out and got like a Bard House or some other lootable POI, then you can get really decent weapons.
Yeah. I found a Suomi and Scorpion.
Yeah.
on Broadalen. We'll talk about it later. There,
Yeah,
the abandoned cabin. But yeah, that's probably the best I've found in a non-boosted lobby.
right.
So
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, though that's the typical kind of stuff you'll find doing a when you're doing a naked or a zero to hero kind of run. Um, but yeah, we're going to go through each map. We're going to and we actually have a plan. Whoa. We'll go through the maps alphabetically. So yeah, we're going to
yeah,
start with Anikken, and we'll talk about our experiences with each map, and how we did, in our runs. Yeah. So starting with Anakin, how did Anakin go for you?
So Anakin, I had a couple good ones. Actually, the strangest thing ever happened, or on Anakin, happened to me first time ever. I had a game freeze in the middle of the game. Like
Oh,
the airdrop came,
yeah.
and literally I was in first person, like I ADS'd in to try to snipe with the Mosin, and the game completely froze.
Oh, wow.
It didn't crash or anything.
Yep.
Literally just stayed there. I clipped it. I didn't. I wasn't 100% sure how to submit it or whatnot, but yeah, I clipped it and everything, and it was weird. It was off stream, so it's just on Xbox. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was actually a half decent run.
Hmm.
Because for the most parts, when I was doing my zero to hero runs on Anakin in this last week and a half, um, I mostly spawned on the left hand side of the map, on the western side.
Right.
So um, west of Old Man's Hut, there's like two houses. Sometimes it's Bard House,
Yep.
and there's a spawn point literally right there.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes I've had that one a couple times, and
Yeah.
so if you go, you get Bard House, you get weapons there. But the other house, usually that's where I found there's like a tall wardrobe.
Oh, yeah.
That's where
Okay.
I found some Mosins. So I got some Mosins out of there, and then I get usually like a pistol, and I found a shotgun too, which is
Oh,
good.
okay.
Um,
No, that's not bad.
and yeah, it's not bad. It's a good start,
Yeah.
especially because if you get the one kill, then you get whatever from whatever you killed, right? So
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
picked up a Rafka and a PHM 82 from one fellow. Um, After he pushed me basically at that location.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and Anakin on the western side, other points where you could get weapon crates. Um, I guess it's like the iceberg crossing, kind of in the middle of the map.
Right.
There's like a ship, and then there's a couple of weapon crates there. Unfortunately, I got weapons out of it once or twice, but then other times it was just weapon parts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then there's that center island just north of like those icebergs where there's a spawn point and it could be one or two, I think, weapon crates. There's like a dig spot there and sometimes a consumable container. That same thing. Sometimes I'd get like a pistol or something like that, or weapon parts. Those runs didn't go the greatest, but
Right. Yeah.
definitely the houses on the west hand side. That's where I was mostly successful. And if I didn't spawn near there, like if I spawned in the northwest corner, I kind of made my way there, and I was able to loot those places, and at least have something to
Yeah.
defend
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. Yeah. My most successful runs on Anakin, I actually almost was the exact opposite. I spawned on the other side of the map, the eastern side, and in Craftsman's Village area a couple times when I was doing these runs, and both times that I spawned over there, Bard also happened to spawn there as well. So I got really lucky, and I was able to rush Bard, and get in there and unlock it before anyone got to me, and so I got decent weapons right away. So that was a huge bonus because I got a Bard. If you can get there and get it, like I got a couple weapons both times. I think they were just green weapons. I think I got like a Sami and might have been a Scorpion or something like that.
Okay.
I think once might have been a Scorpion, once might have been a pistol. I think I might have gotten a pistol out of it once, like a Magnum maybe. Um,
Mm.
but either way, I got a couple weapons out of Bard, and that got me going. Um, I think even once I might have even gotten the combination lock in that same building, because the Bard was in sort of one of those longer shed kind of buildings that usually has like the main entrance in the front, a window in the back, and then a side window as well.
Yeah.
Um, so those kind of buildings can quite often have a lockbox, and I think I got the lockbox once there, which really helps with the ammo situation if you can get one of those, because then you're set
Yeah.
for quite a bit of different types of ammo when you get one of them.
Yeah. And that's one
Yeah.
thing. That's one thing I would definitely suggest is if you find those lock boxes, grab everything.
Hmm.
Literally grab everything. Doesn't matter the ammo type or anything like that. Literally grab everything because you never know if you don't have a gun, then at least you'll have extra ammo because when you
Yeah.
find those weapon crates, most of them have ammo, but like it's less than a clip, right? So
Yeah.
that gives you like maybe an additional clip at best. So it's definitely worth it. The only way you're going to get extra ammo for any type of weapon is if there's going to be like two weapons that use the same ammo type.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I had a run on Broadalen where you there was an SKS and a VZ58, which uses the same ammo type.
Yeah.
So because of that, there was technically two clips of, I think I want to say 20. So it came out to like 40 some bullets. So I was able to get all that for one of them. And um, another tip too, I would suggest is if you're going to grab different guns, or if you're going to grab multiple guns from like a big weapon crate, make sure they don't use the same ammo type.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always
So
good. Is make sure they're different
yeah,
ammo types, so you're spreading it out and you have more options. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry for jumping in there.
No, no, no. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of all this.
Yeah.
And then I think I had a run where I started more like southern of that craftsman's village. Um, and then I think, where did I end up? I think I ended up more in the warehouse, like in the central village where there's a warehouse. I ended up there, and I might have gotten a Thompson out of that warehouse. I can't remember what it was, but I got something out of that warehouse, I'm pretty sure. Um, and then there was some guy who was like trying to hunt me when I had no weapons, and was like, I need something, but I still didn't have much, and I was able to get away from him anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting. But I'd had decent runs on Anikken, so Anikken was a good map for it. You definitely have good options when you're on there. I think I had one run too where I started more north. Yeah, because there's that burnt village.
Yeah.
I think I started there once, and I worked my way down to that other little sort of village spot that sometimes has signals, sometimes has might have a bard. I don't remember, but it has like a few different little, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not the central one, but it's that other one. What's it called? It's
Yeah.
not the
I,
because the burnt out one is that weird, really hard to pronounce
yeah.
name, and then it's like I
I'd
can't
have
remember.
to. I don't have the map
Doesn't
up
matter.
on me, but
It's the one just
it has
south of there.
disruptor. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's one just south of there. So
Yeah.
and I ended up. I think I caught somebody there, and I had a kill. I can't remember now if that was the same run, but yeah. So I had a few good runs on Anakin. All right, let's now we're gonna move down to the batteries, and we'll just talk about both Draug and Snodekt together because they're essentially the same. Just one's snowy, one's not.
Yeah.
But as far as weapon placement and all that, it's all the same. Um, that one's a little bit more like it's really good for this kind of run because you have a really good chance of finding a weapon because you'll find weapons in pretty much all the bunkers. You should be able to, there's a good chance of finding a weapon in the bunkers because there's usually crates around, especially in those little side
Yeah.
rooms. The firing range is really good for finding weapons. And then even the little military village, I think there's chances of finding weapons. There's a few weapon crates at least around there.
Yeah, in the military barracks.
Yeah, in the military barracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call everything a village, but yeah, the military barracks. Yeah. Um, when I did a few runs in there, yeah, I had quite often where I'll be running over to firing range to grab something, and you're not usually gonna get anything great at firing range. If you find
Yeah.
anything, it's going to be like a Thompson, maybe a pistol. But you'll find something at least. You'll definitely find something there. What
Yeah.
else did I have? I had a run where I started near the house. I call it the medicine house, but it's that
No, the hotel.
the hotel. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where all the meds are.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I started over there and I tried heading to that bunker, and I don't think I found anything at that bunker. It took me a while to
No.
find something. Um, but I usually did all right. I usually did right in those runs. Did you?
Yeah.
How about you?
Um, for me, like top bunker is the
Yeah,
best one.
that's a good
I
one.
don't I honestly don't think the other ones are guaranteed crates.
I
Like
wouldn't say they're guaranteed, but they usually have weapon crates there, and then if you're
yeah.
lucky, there might be weapons, but quite often it's gonna be parts. Yeah.
Okay. Cause like I had no luck at the other ones. Like there
Oh,
was one
okay.
I think I literally ran. There was two people at the top one,
Yeah.
and I literally ran to the other ones, and I could not find anything.
Oh,
Like
okay.
not even weapon parts. Like there was nothing.
Oh.
Um, I ended up like running like everywhere
Oh,
that
geez.
that round. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, firing range, that top bunker, and I ended up doing a loop too. And the one that really, because this is the one that was, I guess, traumatic for me, I guess, so it's like really sticking in my head.
Yeah.
I did the big loop because firing range ended up having a bunch of fire, like people shooting at each other,
Oh, geez.
and I heard some like I don't know, it was crazy. But anyways, I ended up time vault was up north in that top bunker.
Right.
So then I went back and I thought the person had actually opened it and they didn't. So they were looking for the second switch.
Oh.
And it was on top of like the cannon,
Yeah.
on the side of the cannon.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So so I tried to hide, but I guess they saw me and they came and they saw I didn't have a weapon. So they unlocked the safe. I go down to the safe with them. The guy looted everything.
Oh.
And then he looted all the weapon crates beforehand. So everything was empty. So I just ran off again. Nothing.
Oh.
But anyways, by the time everything was all said and done, like I ended up back at firing range for a second time and it
Hmm.
was clear. And I ended up with a gun there, but then I got sandwiched and I died.
Oh, okay.
But because the airdrop was actually coming there as well. So
Yeah.
anyways, it was fun, but like I find battery is one of those maps where it seems to be a little sweatier
Well,
than
it's a very
most.
sweaty map. Yeah.
So like for me, naked runs it's very challenging. So if you wanted like challenging naked run,
Yeah.
like battery would be it.
You want to get your heart rate up, go to battery.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
for sure.
because it's yeah the usually like there's at least one or two SG1s, H bars, something like that, right? And then it's like you need to find that weapon, and it's like when I see I'm not getting weapon crates or someone's already there, it's like I
Yeah.
kind of want to try to survive, and I try to run around to get a weapon so I could defend myself. But I had a couple of other rounds where it's like I had one kill or so, but
Hmm.
um, not too bad. But that was the one that really sticks out in my mind.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
I had one, I think it was the same one. The one where I started at hotel was where I went to the bunker, that's right there, and it didn't have anything. And I was making my way over to the shooting range just to see if I could find anything there, firing range. And somebody was taking some shots at me. Like they saw me and they were taking a few shots at me. I can't remember where I was, but I was able to avoid them. And I got down there, but they were still like slowly coming after me. And I was like inching my way around to find a weapon. I eventually did get a weapon. I can't remember what it was exactly, but I got a weapon. But they were hunting me, and I was like hiding because like all I had was this little weapon.
Yeah,
Got a little bit of a firefight going, but I wasn't able to. I think I maybe hit him once or twice, but not enough. And I was hiding. I was crawling a lot, and he was like circling around trying to find me. And I was like, at one
yeah,
point at the very end, it's like, okay, there's no way I'm going to win this. I got to get out of here. And so I was hiding behind some logs, and I think he had gone up into the woods a little bit on the other side of the house. I started backing up. I just backed, slowly backed. I got to a certain point, got
Yeah.
up, ran.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I survived. I got out. He didn't get me, but it was pretty funny. It was like one of
I,
those runs.
talking about like hiding and stuff like that. So by firing range, there's a tank right on the road,
Yeah.
and it's almost like wedged up against like the guardrail.
Right. Yeah.
So someone was hunting me like that one round,
Yeah.
and I ran. They're on like the other side by like the ocean side or the seaside of firing range.
Yeah.
So I came up the road running away, trying to lose them, and I wedged myself between that tank and the guardrail, and he didn't see me. I laid down prone, and he ended up going up on the hillside, and I saw him. He kept going up and down across the
Trying to see you.
hillside because it's all
Yeah.
open, right? And
Yeah.
then he's going through the bushes and he's shooting bushes, and I think he must have been the one who got like the truck with the signals and
Yeah.
the mortars,
Yeah.
because he dropped a mortar strike 2 on the hillside to try to get me out.
Oh.
And it's like okay, I'm out. I jumped the guardrail, and then I went back to firing range to get the weapon crate, and I finally got a weapon at that point there. But oh
Nice.
yeah, it was good.
That's good. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, it's stressful, but it's fun.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So
Um,
next we'll
so
talk about Broadalen. How'd Broadalen go?
um, Broadalen is very tough,
Yeah, it
to
is.
be honest.
Yeah.
Um, it's like feast or famine, pretty much. Is I guess it's the perfect way of saying it,
Yeah.
because um, if you spawn to the north by the abandoned cabin, there's literally like you're like a hop, skip, and a jump away. There's a weapon crate, and you basically have like your pick of like I think it's 5 or 6 weapons in that crate.
Yeah. That's
You
a
have
really
a
good
good
place.
variety, and this is like what I was kind of mentioning earlier on, where you want to make sure that you take weapons of different ammo type
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So, because like I picked up a Suomi once, but then I'm trying to think, is it the Luger
Uh,
that uses the Parabellum ammo?
yeah, I think it's a Luger. It's definitely a pistol. There's a pistol that uses the same
Yeah.
ammo. Yeah.
So I'm like, I had picked up the Luger because I like the Luger as a pistol for like this kind of challenge, because you're not getting like high end pistols. But because of that, I ended up grabbing the other pistol, as well as there. I think there was a rack too. So I had 2 sidearms and then 2 primaries. So I ended up with the Suomi, and I think I picked up the VZ58, um, and that was actually a good run. That one time, because I ended up with like 2 kills, and I died to someone camping or ambushing. What was it? I think it was the lock container by a gas station.
Oh, okay.
There was actually 2 people. One was on the bridge, and then one was in the tents.
Yeah.
And I knew about the one in the tents, and the one on the bridge got me. But anyways, I've had some decent ones, but like if you spawn to the south, or like, because the other place I could find weapons is so north of gas station. There's kind of like an intersection where a bridge crossing meets up with the main road.
Yeah.
And like sometimes there's a comm station there. There's sometimes a weapons crate there, or on the other side of the suspension bridge, where there's like a tank or 2. You could get a weapon crate there, and there's like a little side bunker. But aside from that, like if you spawn on the south side, like you're struggling. Like you go
Yeah.
into like a kitchen. Any building with a kitchen can have like a knife or something, so at least you could try to melee someone. But it's like we all know how the melee system is, but at least you could take a swing at someone. But Broadalen is very, very tough to do.
Yeah, it definitely
really good
is.
ones.
Yeah, I had one where I started on the south, and I could not find anything. I was hitting every house I could think I could on my way. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just make my way up to the abandoned cabin, see if there's anything there. At least so I can say maybe I found a weapon or something. And yeah, I could not find a weapon. I got some loot. Eventually, I made it to the cabin, and there was like 2 guns left in the crate, and there was no ammo. But I said,
Oh,
okay, well, you know what? At least I got a gun. I may
yeah,
not be able. I could even melee with a gun at least.
yeah, yes.
So I didn't even have a knife. So
Oh, actually, that reminds me. I had a similar run too, where I was somewhere down south, where I spawned. I ended up finding a lockbox in like a
mm,
shed.
yeah,
So I grabbed all the ammo, right? As I said, grab
yeah,
everything you could find. I ended up going to, I think it was Bard House. Yeah, it was Bard House. It wasn't Time Vault. It was Bard House.
right.
And there, someone had swapped out their VZ52 for
Oh,
whatever was
whatever
in
is in
the
it.
vault.
Yeah,
And there was like a machine gun too, but like I didn't I don't like it because I don't like the heavy LMGs, right?
yeah,
That slow you down. So like if it's something that's light, I'll take it, but if it has that little heavy icon, I will not take it. So I
yeah,
grabbed the 52, more than happy, and there was no ammo in there either. So they had looted all the ammo
yeah.
or didn't leave me any. And well, no, wait, if they swap the weapons, they're not going to be able to put ammo in it. But anyways,
No.
so I had at least like a clip or whatever of the 52. So
Oh, that works out. Yeah,
yeah,
I wasn't that lucky at that time. And
no,
then yeah, I had another run where if I started on the north, then I definitely I hit over to abandoned cabin and grab what I can out of there for sure. That's yeah. So I had some runs like that. I didn't have anything like overly memorable other than that one run where I couldn't find anything. So it was like I was running trying to find something. But
yeah,
Broadalen, yeah, you gotta really hope you start in the north because if you're starting south, it's going to be a slog. You're just running around hoping you find something. And I can't
yeah.
even think of like I was thinking of was there anything by any tanks or anything like that? But I think I even went to that farm in the central area, the ranch I think it's called,
Yeah,
and I just was not having any luck finding anything that game.
yeah,
Yeah, it was a rough one, but I survived.
yep,
I just didn't I didn't get any ammo. I found a gun, but no ammo. Yeah,
yep, for sure.
yeah,
It's tough.
it is. Yeah. The next one, Forest, Dverg Forest, it can be a little bit of a tough one too. There are some places there. I would definitely say there's more places to find weapons than say Broadalen. Just because if you start in the north or you start in the south of the map, there are some locations on either side that you can find some weapons, but it's not a lot. Like there's not a lot of places. I was lucky. I started. There's a one. It's called Filthy Crossing. So on the north of the map, there's that Filthy Crossing, and it's near. There's like when you're by Filthy Crossing, there's like this sort of a weird. I don't know what they call it. It's like a military post or resupply on the top, um, like the north west of the map, and then on the northeast is that old barn. So those are like the two locations up there, and they don't really have anything either. Like the northeast one has nothing, and the
Hmm.
barn will just have it'll have materials like um, uh, fertilizer and that kind of stuff, but you're not going to find much for weapons. But the Filthy Crossing, right just north of it, there's like another little like just a couple boats, and there's some food you can find there. But there's also a weapon crate there, and I was
Hmm.
lucky. I can't remember what kind of gun it was. Um, I'm not sure if it was a Visa 58 or I think it might have been. I think it might have been a Visa 58. I found a gun there, and I was lucky because I was able to go across the Filthy Crossing and head to that little blue shed. And as I was moving to that blue shed, someone took some shots at me, and I didn't quite see where they were coming from, but I was able to duck out of the way, and I was hiding behind a boulder, and they started coming up the path, and um, I was able to kill them with the gun I had, and I got the weapon I got from them wasn't anything huge. So I think they were taking shots at me with a Magnum or something like that. Maybe it may have been a Swish. I'm not sure, but they were too far away from me when they were taking their shots. That I was just lucky that they just didn't have the accuracy. But
Hmm.
yeah, but that was at least you can find a gun in that near that filthy crossing. Um, but other good locations as you're on the map. We were talking about the the military checkpoint, which is like very south of the map. There's by the bottom exit. There's that military checkpoint. Just up from there, there's the uh, what's that old man? It's called that yellow house.
Oh, Olaf's farm.
Olaf's farm. Across from
Yeah.
Olaf's farm is that blue whatever it's called. I think it's called Jake's
House.
Sete or something like that.
Yeah.
And right behind it is a little watchtower, and there's some weapon crates there. So that's a location you can find some weapons. There's a feeder sort of north from there. You see, there's a place called Wooden Bridge, and just north and east from that wooden bridge a little bit is one of those feeders. And always look for these feeders; they're really good because you can sometimes find a locked box in them, like a locked container. But they quite often also have these blue boxes. Sometimes you'll just find chemicals in those blue boxes, but that one quite often will have a weapon. That's not uncommon to find a weapon in that one.
Oh,
Yep.
I think one other place too to check, um, the most eastern exit. So the one that kind of like it's a trail that goes up the hill,
And then
like
doubles
it
back on
zigzags up.
itself. Yeah.
Yes. So that one. So there's a little campsite. There's actually, I think, a weapons crate
Oh,
there.
yeah, the campsite. You're
I
right.
I forgot about that one up until you were talking about
Yeah.
that last one.
The campsite
So
is not a guarantee, but
no,
there's a chance. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
not bad. Um,
but
how did
yeah,
your forest runs go? Yeah.
yeah, not the greatest,
Not
but
the
I
greatest.
didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
Um, like me, I didn't even think about Jack Seti or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
like the watchtower, because uh, I see a watchtower, I see something I don't even want to be close to because I'm not going to go up there,
Yeah.
and if someone's in there, like I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. True.
so I usually, and especially that building there, I'm usually coming from the other side from Olaf's farm because that's usually barred, right? So
Yeah.
I'm usually coming from the other side. But for me, especially when you're in the south, I go for military
Mm-hmm.
checkpoint. Um, but aside from that, like I didn't really have any memorable runs, to be honest. Like I
Yeah.
struggled on forest, to be honest. But
On
um,
occasion in forest, also check whenever you have a chance, check the yellow. I don't know if they're like the snow plows or whatever, the yellow snow plows. I have
mm,
found like shotguns in them on occasion. So it's not a common thing,
yeah,
but you can. It is a
yeah.
possibility.
Well, snow plowing is a dangerous job, right?
Yeah,
So
it must be. Yeah. But I would check them anyways, just because if they don't have a weapon, they'll have usually some loot in them, so they're usually decent for loot. Those snowplows,
yeah,
the yellow
like
snowplows.
I think out of Olaf's farm, I got like a pistol out of like the kitchen or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
or sometimes out of the cabinets upstairs, you can find.
yeah, like that's aside from that, those were like the only places I really
Yeah.
ended up getting weapons. So it was like, it's not like I said, not the greatest runs. Like,
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
uh,
You can talk about the next one because I didn't even get to play it
oh,
as
okay.
we were doing our testing.
So Fiske Fabrikk.
Fisk.
I I honestly had my best runs on Fisk, I
Oh
think.
wow, nice.
Um, because so there's not a whole lot of weapon crates, but I think it's just the way that they're spread out, and because the bigger maps are, in my opinion, bigger maps are better because you could kind of sneak around, and a lot of the spawn points are a little further out, spread
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Um, so two places to look for is Store Market and Lost Patrol. Now, Store Market, I would, unless you're spawning right there, I would not even try going because
It's a sweaty
there's,
area. Yeah,
yeah, like 5, 6 spawn points, like all within a stone's throw. Like it's going to be hot quick, and honestly, I'd rather not be there if I have nothing.
yeah.
So for me, Lost Patrol was always the place to go for, and luckily, it was never looted. I've gotten like SKSs, VZ 58s, I think, and some pistols like a Luger or a PM. Um, but two of my runs, one I picked up an SKS, and you know how there's the hillside by Cafe Lise where
Yep.
the signal spawns right
Yep.
up there. So someone was I heard someone shooting, um, and I ran up, and as I got closer, I started creeping up to him, and as the person got threat, I one tapped him in the head with an
Oh,
SKS,
nice.
and I go pick it. I go check out his weapons, and it's like an SG-1,
Oh man.
and all his loot, like his inventory was full. It was fantastic. I go loot his kill down below, and as I'm looting that guy, I see someone creeping across the street going from like there's like two sets of houses.
Yeah.
So he was going from one set to the next one. So as he's going from one to the other, he stopped for some reason, maybe to look at his map or something. I turned at him, got him going. So or no, he was looting one of his kills from, I guess, earlier,
Okay.
or he saw bodies. Anyways, he
Yeah.
was looting. I killed him. I go to loot him, and then someone was coming alongside the bottom of that first initial cliff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I turned around and got him, and then he had an SVU on him. So
Oh
I ended up
man.
with an SG-1, an SVU. Trying to think. I think a Raffica, and someone had a John
Oh really?
on them. So I had a
Yeah.
John. So I filled up the weapon wheel,
Yeah.
and like all like fantastic weapons, really. Um, and like my loot was full. It's like, I had a ton of chems, fuel, like everything.
Yeah.
It was super memorable. Um, and then I'm trying to think, what was the other one? The other one, I ended up. Oh, actually, no, sorry, that was not on Fisk. I think that was a different map.
Oh,
I
okay.
think
Okay.
that might have been FJ.
Right.
But anyways, I could talk about it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those Lost Patrol and Store Market are the two places with weapon crates that you want to look for. Um, and other than that, it's
It's kind
tough.
of bare.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
If you're lucky, maybe you'll find something in a house, but it's pretty rare even then. I don't
yeah,
think I've ever really found much for weapons in houses. Like maybe okay, not around the coast, but those other houses, like when you go to this Cafe Fisk, um, Cafe Fisk,
Cafe
Cafe
Kiss.
Lise, yeah, Cafe Fisk, Cafe Lise, and back, like those houses that sort of go in a line that are in from the coast a bit. That line of
Yeah,
houses, I think you might have a chance finding something in them, but not guaranteed. The Store Market and Lost Patrol are probably your best bets for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And it's like Lost Patrol, you could get 1 to 2 weapon crates, I think, on a basic non-boosted resource run. But I think if it ends up getting boosted, you could actually get up to 3,
Oh, okay.
because there was a boosted lobby where there was 3 crates. And then Store Market, I think by default there's like 2 to 3 in
Yeah.
and around
Yeah.
um, there. So
There's easily like three in it because there's like in those shelves on the other side of
yeah,
the counter there's two for sure. Then I think if you go I think closer
there's
to the
there's one on
kitchen
the
there might
outside.
be yeah, there's one on the outside in the back I think or on the side. I don't know. But there's definitely quite a few around there.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good location, but it's very sweaty. So it's like you gotta get in, get out if you're lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Um,
that's Fisk.
yeah, Fisk, and I didn't even get a chance to try Fisk for this when we were talking about doing it. It never came up for when I was playing. Is unfortunate. Um, Next one's Fjellkanten. Not my favorite for this. It's just because it's generally a very kind of sweaty, snipey one. But I
Yeah.
didn't do bad tell the truth. Like I did all right doing Fell. There are definitely locations you can find weapons. When I did it, I think I pretty much tried to go for the underground ones, like the um,
Oh,
sealed off section and flooded caverns. I think it was flood. Which one's which? No, flooded caverns is the one that's to the east.
East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was sealed off section. I know for sure sealed off section has a couple weapon crates. Flooded caverns I think does as well, but
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely found a weapon or two in those locations. I didn't do well. I want to say that I didn't do great. I did okay, and so I had a couple of successful runs where I did find a weapon and I got out may not have been, fancy or anything, but I got something got out. That was the name of the game.
Yeah.
Um, I know I had tried to, I think, get barred once, but it was too tough. I got killed. Somebody, I just couldn't avoid somebody who was like able to, get it like, before I could get a weapon. Like I think I was opening safe once,
Mm.
and before I could get the weapon, like go in and get the weapon out of the safe. Or I got the weapon out of the safe, but then they were able to get in before I could load it and kill me.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, it is one of those kind of situations. But it was, yeah, that's basically it. Like I did okay. I didn't even like. There's a lot of locations that you can get weapons. Like there's the geologist camp, which is on the northern part, sort of northern middle part of the map.
Yep.
Crash Chopper. I never even got the Crash Chopper. Um, Lonely Man's Resting Place. I did get there once. I don't think I found a weapon though.
No, it's mostly
Yeah,
weapon parts I find with that
yeah,
one.
yeah. And Mountain Ridge Vista. Which one's that?
That's the signpost where you get all the
Oh,
consumables there,
yeah. I never got
like
there
north
either.
of flooded caverns.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, is like mostly hitting those underground ones, trying to get a weapon and hope to get out. I don't even know if I had much combat. It's like I was trying to avoid combat a lot in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
How?
Yeah, well, like you're right because it's like FJ honestly is probably the sweatiest map
Yeah.
in all of Vigor, right? So it is definitely tough. In my opinion, like I hate going into like flooded caverns or sealed off section.
Yeah. I don't mind
I
those
don't.
actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I don't like being somewhere where like I feel trapped, and
Oh,
I kind of feel trapped when I'm like the same thing like going into a house that might not have like a whole lot of ways to get out.
yeah.
I don't like if I know no one's around, fine, but like if someone might be around, then I don't really want to go.
But I'm almost the opposite because at least I know there's one of two ways they could be coming from.
Yeah,
And if you definitely you wear headphones, like in this kind of game, you kind of wear
yeah,
headphones. You can hear where they're coming from. Now, unless
yeah.
they're up top, like sometimes the sound can be that they're above you, and
Hmm.
it's not clear that they're above you. But at
Yeah,
least I know they're coming one of two ways. So is this whether or
yeah,
not I'm better at getting the drop on them, or they're better at getting the drop on me. But I
yeah.
don't usually try to stay there too long. Sometimes, I might,
Hmm.
I'm sitting there listening to see what's around before I try to move out. But yeah, if
Yeah,
I'm in there to either loot or in this case find weapons, and then I'm trying to get out. So yeah, I don't mind them so much. I don't mind going in
yeah. Yeah.
them.
Difference of opinion, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't
no, that's
know.
fair.
It's hard to hide and like if you want to try to like zigzag to avoid shots, that is super hard, right? Because they're narrow passageways and stuff.
No,
But
that's true.
that's the way I see it, anyways. Um, for my runs, I actually had some decent runs. Like the one big run that I had, I came out with like two H bars. I ended up going
Wow.
to trying to think where I ended up. I got a weapon crate at church, I think it was, and then
Oh, okay.
someone who was looting or looked at their map, and I got them. And then I'm trying to remember what they gave me. It wasn't an H bar right off the bat.
Hmm.
And then I ended up now it's going to bug me. Anyways, I ended up killing someone with an H bar, and then um, I third party another person and I killed them, but the person that they killed ended up having an H bar too. So I ended
Oh,
up with
okay.
two H bars. Um, but yeah, it's FJ is super hard, especially like you mentioned Crash Chopper. Uh, there's weapon crates there, and like I think there's two of them. There's one at the back and one on the side.
Right.
And the hardest thing about that place is like there's I want to say 3 to 4 spawn points like all like next to it. And depending if signal's at the bottom of the hill, um like you're going to get a ton of traffic, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not there quickly and have time to reload the weapon and whatnot, you're kind of a sitting duck, and it's just not fun.
Sure.
But yeah, for me, the geologist camp is by far my favorite because it's like I find even though there's a few spawn points to the north and to the south and east and everything, you could actually have like breathing room, and then you get not only are you getting weapons, you're getting consumables, which I guess we haven't really talked about. Um, this game is like you're literally going in with nothing,
Yeah.
and it's like there's times where like that initial fight, it's like I've taken shots and it's like I'm at 50 HP or something, and it's like what do I do? And like the geologist camp, at least like I could get into a fight and I'd be able to heal after the fact.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, FJ is definitely a challenging map for anyone who wants to do it. Not because it's hard to get weapons, but because uh, the competition.
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so what was the next one?
Next one is Grontheim Valley.
Right.
Uh, because we're going alphabetical, and
I know,
this
but
is
I
where
started talking about Fjellkanten, so that's why I'm getting you to start talking
oh
about.
yeah. Um, it's like it's hard to remember. It's
Yeah.
like we're
I
all
know.
over
I
the
know it's
place.
alphabetical. I know what's next.
I know. I'm used to jumping all over the place.
Yeah,
You
I
know me.
know. I know.
Uh,
Yeah.
so anyways, so Grontheim, it's it's kind of like challenging because
Yeah.
most of the weapon crates are kind of in the middle. Like there's the warehouse, and then
Mm-hmm.
the bridge where there's a bunch of cars where you could get super awesome
Mm-hmm.
consumables like portables and mortar strikes and stuff like that. If you're not there, and then Doc, you mentioned like the campsite by the southwest or
Southeast.
southeast
Yeah.
exit. Um,
In that
that
wooded
has
area.
weapon crates.
Yeah.
Aside from that, like there's not a whole lot. Like the depot will sometimes have like a weapon crate, but like it's mostly parts,
Mostly
right?
parts. Yeah. It
Um,
is a rough one. Yeah, because I'm thinking there's that feeder near the logistics, which will sometimes have a locked container. So there's two feeders. Like there's the feeder by logistics, and then
yeah,
on the opposite side, in the wooded area on the north west, there's another feeder that sometimes can also have a locked thing. But those aren't guaranteed to have weapons, right? Like
no,
it's quite often there'll be ammo, and sometimes there might be a weapon, especially if it's a boosted lobby. Then there might be a weapon in them.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, it's rough. It is really rough trying to find a weapon if you're not like in the central town, because you can find weapon crates throughout the central town a little bit, but they're not like they're kind of all over the place. So you like, and it's not exactly a safe place to be running around trying to find a weapon.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. I'm just trying to
Um,
think of others, but yeah.
yeah, it's one of those maps that's kind of tough.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I didn't really have super memorable runs doing naked runs. Like I do my own version where I'll bring in consumables. So I'll bring in like contact bombs and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I don't and some heals and sometimes armor or whatever. But like I don't usually always bring in armor when I'm doing those runs because like to have armor it's almost like a waste, right? Because I don't
Yeah,
have a weapon and it's like
yeah,
I'm just like biding time pretty much, right? Um, I had a good run with that where it's like I placed three contact bombs on the bridge, and I actually killed someone who walked through them, and then I got like I had a grease gun. Someone was coming along because they heard the noise, and then I killed that guy. Um, but like yeah, it's not a naked run, but
yeah. It's more like that's maybe even closer to a rags to riches. You don't have a weapon, but you are starting with a couple things.
yeah.
You're trying to use like contact bombs and whatever to kill somebody so that you can get a weapon.
Oh, it's like MacGyver or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
right? It's a
yeah.
MacGyver run. Maybe I'll just rename it to that or something.
Maybe take some booby traps with you. Throw them on.
Yeah.
I actually ran into a booby trap the other, like I think it was the other day. I hadn't seen one used in I don't know how long, and I was going to a car and it popped up like booby trap, like what? And I was doing it, but then it just blew up on me anyways. I must have missed it, did it or something, but it didn't do much damage to me. But it's like I wasn't
Mhm.
expecting it. Like I had not seen a booby trap used, and I don't know how
Yeah,
long. Yeah,
yeah. Well, it's like it was during one of my runs like that where I actually used um, a booby trap on a vinyl record because I was
yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, I brought in stuff. I might as well try this, and I'm like, and I was
Yeah.
able to do it.
Oh,
Um,
vinyl records. On the PlayStation, there's one vinyl record I still need, and it was during one of my runs in on Batterie that, oh, it's the record I need. I got to survive, but I didn't survive. Yeah, someone. So I went around a rock, and then somebody was there, and he went around the rock the other way and went up on top of the rock and killed me. It's like, oh,
uh,
yep,
gotcha.
yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really have any memorable naked runs on Grontheim.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't either really. Like I had a couple times like where I started to cross like on the southern western area where there's that house, then there's the carpentry area, wherever it's called. I think it's called carpentry. I started over there once. I didn't find anything, but then I went across the river to get the camp, went to go to that camp to get weapons. And I had to be
mhm,
really careful going across the river too because signals was up in the tower and somebody had just used
mhm,
signals. So I was heading sort of north southern on the map over by there's that sort of yellow house that's close to the very bottom of the map, and I was moving around that way, watching that tower because I think when he did the signal, I was maybe across the road at the time. But then he did the signal and I ran over there. And I was watching the tower because I had nothing, and I wish I had a gun because I was watching him in the tower, running back and forth a little bit. Maybe he was looking for me, maybe he was looking for someone else. I don't know. It was like,
yeah,
okay, you gotta leave that tower. I gotta get across this river. But then eventually I saw him come down. It's like, okay, I can go, and I ran across the river and made it. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really have anything memorable happen in Grontheim. It was because it's one of those maps where if you're not in the middle of everything, you're not going to really um, you're going to spend a lot of time on the outskirts. If you start on the outskirts and you're not
yeah,
running to the middle, you're going to miss out on a lot. Like I got my weapons and then I made my way up, and I found a lot of food, found a little bit of chemicals, but not much. And then the timer
yeah,
went off. It's like, okay, well, I spent all this time getting up here, and then it's over. So I had to run back
yeah,
down to the exit. It was successful. It just wasn't exciting. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. So yeah, that was Grontheim. Next is Sagbruk. Sagbruk is amazingly really good for this. There's a lot of
Yeah,
locations you can find weapons. I had part of my best run on Sagbruk. It didn't start out that way. I had started out near there's that one spawn close to the far western exit along that road. There's like a spawn that puts you not far from the coast. You can run up to the coast, and there's the really good loot spot with the
yeah,
fertilizer and the chemicals. So I was able to run there. My choices were either to go north into the woods and hope to find weapons like by Destroyed Power Pole, which is a good location. I didn't think of Destroyed Dreams. I didn't. It didn't click with me that there can be a crate there, and there's
yeah,
a crate there. So I didn't think to go to that place. Well, my options were either to go up to Destroyed for me at the time to go up to Destroyed Power Pole and hope to find something there, or head my way towards the central sawmill area because sawmill, um, there's several locations within there that you can find weapons. So I figured, okay,
mhm,
I'm gonna head straight there, picking up the good loot without touching vehicles on the way.
yeah,
And if I'm starting there and I want to go to the sawmill, I'll run across those logs that are in the water because there's a good path
mhm,
of logs that'll take you up into the main building.
mhm,
And I think I had heard somebody, so I got down and was crawling into the building. So I spent a bunch of time crawling in the building for a while, trying not to make too much noise. There can be a weapon crate in the very top of that building.
mhm,
So I crawled up there, but it was already either looted or didn't spawn. And somebody had been up there because the comm station there had been used, and any glass and all that had already been looted. So somebody had already been through there. Um, and I didn't want to make noise on wood, so I crawled my way back down. um, and then I crawled my way down to the under the porta potties, the ones that are built
Yeah.
into the sawmill,
Yeah.
and I went down through the porta potties so that I could get off wood and I could crawl around again. And I actually made a clip of it. It's pretty funny. Coming out of the porta potties, up when you come right out of them, like take a right, you go back up into where signals can spawn. So
Oh,
there's
okay.
the fenced area.
Yeah, the north side of the
Yeah, the
sawmill.
north side
Yep.
of the sawmill, that fenced area where signals can spawn. I was
Oh,
not
that's right.
crawling. I was like
Yeah.
well, I was like low walking, making as little noise as possible up there,
Crouching.
crouching,
Yeah.
crouching. I was crouch walking, and I come around
Yeah.
that little blue container, like little blue bin,
Yeah.
and then I'm coming around the building, and there's somebody right against the fence. I didn't even see them, and there's like someone standing right in the fence. I look up like, oh crap, there's someone at the fence. I back up and go back around the little
Yeah.
blue container. They did not see me at all, and they were focused in on someone else, and they fired at
Yeah.
somebody and killed them. I just sort of stayed where I was because I had no gun. They looted their guy, and then I could hear them and watch them sort of walk off on the other side of the fence and take off. It's like, oh, luckily they didn't see me, so I walked back
Yeah.
over there. I saw their kill. It didn't leave me any guns, but I was able to go just around the building back towards the sawmill a little bit. There was a weapons crate, and I found a Visa 58 there. I was like, okay, I got a gun. I'm good. And I figured, okay,
Yeah.
well, at this point, I'll head back up. I'll might as well head to Destroyed Tower. Um, is that what it's called again? Uh,
Powerful.
Destroyed Power Pole. Yeah. So I figured, okay, I'll make my way up to Destroyed Power Pole. I checked out Cabin in the Woods. But I got to Destroyed Power Pole, and I don't remember if I found a weapon there or not. I don't think I did. But as I was in that cabin that's up there,
Yeah.
somebody else came up, and this is like my best run because they came up. They were looking around, and I don't know if they must have saw me at some point or heard me, and then we sort of had our little standoff for a little bit. Like they were on one side of the wall, I was on the other side. They went around, and I started going after them, taking a few pot shots at them. At this point, I have like a V's 58 and maybe just less of a clip. It was like not quite
20
30
bullets, I
rounds. It was
think
like
it was.
20 or yeah, a little over 20
Yeah.
bullets. I took a few shots at them, a few shots at them. They tried to shoot at me through the wall, and then at one point I rushed them. It was right when they had doing a reload. I rushed them, and I
Yeah.
came around the side of the building, uh, took a few shots at them, but they had run off on the other side of the building, and this is the side of the building that's closest to the cliff. So that one side of
Yeah.
that little house is next to a cliff, and they tried to run
Yeah.
across, and there's like a little bit of a gap on the one side, but it's not easy to get through. I ran
No.
across behind them, and as they were trying to go into it, I used the last of my bullets. I think it's like my last bullet. I
Yeah.
killed them. Yeah,
I remember that. It was hilarious.
it's like last
Literally the
bullet.
last bullet
Yeah.
got him.
Got them, and then I came out of there with an SVU,
Yeah.
a Gewehr 3. They had a lot of
Yeah.
loot on them. It's like that was like a beautiful run, and then that not long after that, the radiation started coming, so I booked off to the exit I pretty much started near. But
Yep.
yeah, that was probably my most successful run. But yeah, Sagbruk is there's a lot of different little areas that you can get, and I've done a few other runs. I did quite a few runs at Sagbruk because it's one of my favorite maps now.
Yeah.
um, Camping Disaster, which is down on the eastern side. Quite often you'll find like a grease gun or a Thompson or something.
Yeah.
Um, there's the Fisherman's Village. You may not find a weapon in Fisherman's Village, but there's a feeder just sort of the west of Fisherman's Village that
Mhm.
quite often will have guns. The tracks just north of that feeder sometimes has a weapons crate that can have guns. You said that there was a dump truck by the tourists' rest, which I never.
Yeah.
There's a weapons crate near there, which I never really look for, so I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah.
How did your runs
Yeah. It's
on Sagbrook go?
not bad. Like they're all pretty decent. Like I
Yeah,
hit all those spots. Nothing super memorable. Um, it's tough because like
yeah,
if you don't have that extra ammo,
yeah,
it is like I found this was the map where like the lack of ammo is where I really got hurt.
mm,
Because like you don't know where people are
yep,
sometimes. They may be in trees or something like that, and like I didn't have any super really good runs. Like I had a couple where I had one or two kills, and I'd go for the airdrop, and I died to people ambushing the airdrop and whatnot,
Yeah, yeah.
um, which is fine. But like, yeah, I didn't have anything super memorable. I I want to say like even though there's all these great spots for it, I didn't have any really good
Okay.
runs.
And this is also the map too where you can sometimes find up to 3 lockboxes in Fisherman's Village. So if
Mhm.
you can luck out and find a weapon, and if you're lucky, there's like one or two lockboxes, you can
Yeah,
get ammo. So ammo's not impossible. And then if
yeah,
you hit like Foreman's house or whatever, the Foreman's place, there's sometimes gonna be a
yeah,
lock thing there. So looking for the lock, that whole little run, sort of like from north down to the
yeah,
Fisherman's Village, there's a few places you
yeah.
can look for things. But yeah,
All right.
it can be rough. But
Yeah,
it
I
is
was.
a good map for it though.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Like I play it a lot because I want
Well,
to survive
chemicals.
on
Yeah.
Sagbruk so bad because the chemicals, right? Like
Yeah, chemicals. You want the chemicals.
you get to the point where we're at in your shelter building and stuff like that. It's like you need chemicals, right? It's probably the
Yeah.
number one thing that we all need, and it's like it's the best map for it.
Yeah, it is. It
So
really is. And
um,
nails are pretty good to get there too, and you eventually need quite a bit of nails, anyways.
yep.
Yeah, for sure. And then that's for you to take us through our last one, or start us on our last one.
Uh, yeah. So the last one is Viktorsen Station, my favorite map.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but
for sure.
might be my favorite map overall, but for naked runs, maybe not the
Mm,
greatest. Like it's okay, but um, I had some decent runs where it's like one or two kills. Um, but like when I spawn to the north of the map, that's where it kind of gets a little challenging.
yeah,
Because north side of the map, not a whole lot. If you're like southern portion, especially near the station, is the place to be because station has like I don't know what 4 or 5
yeah,
something
partly about that. Yeah.
like there's quite a few,
Hmm.
and it's like I don't mind doing that because you go there. It's busy because there's a few spawn points nearby. I've been able to get a couple of kills there after getting that initial crate or two. Um, and then like there's what was the place we talked about by the last resort, um, or lakeside resort? There's a
Oh,
little on the west side
yeah.
cabin something.
I don't know if it has a name, but it
So that
yeah,
has like some weapon crates, the barricade
the
on the main
barricade
road.
just
Um,
south of that little place has some stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and then in my notes I have outpost, but I'm trying to remember where that is.
That's sort of central. That's not far from the lake house. The one,
Oh
where
yeah,
Bart
where
could be.
signals is.
Yeah.
Yes. Mostly like we were talking about it beforehand. Like it's mostly weapon parts for the most part when I've had it.
But you can
Um,
find like a shotgun or sometimes a pistol.
yeah, the odd thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I've had decent success. I like especially with the Thompson. Um, the grease gun when I would get, I don't know why I would get the grease gun on this,
Mm.
and it's like if I could get close enough, okay, I would do okay. But like
The
any
grease
kind of
gun
distance,
is not distance. Yeah, like that, you have a bit more success with the Thompson at distance. Not a lot more success,
yeah,
but a little bit more. The grease gun is really close range. It does not seem to like going, even medium distance. It does not like it.
yeah, it's like no, it's
Yeah.
like you're throwing like air pellets or something at it, and
Yeah,
it's
it might
like
as well just have like a BB gun.
yeah, it'll just sting them, and they're like
Yeah, yeah.
whatever.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's cute. Here.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that's where you can find the weapons in station,
yeah.
and yeah, like I said, it's not. It might be my favorite map, but not for naked
Not
runs.
for naked run. And I didn't do too bad. Like my very first run was a Viktorsen run. Like when we started doing this testing, and I had a decent run, but in the end I died to radiation, so I didn't make it out. But like to start the thing, I wasn't far from barricade. Like I can't remember exactly where I started on that run,
Yeah,
But I made it to barricade. I got a weapon out of the barricade. I said, okay, great. I'm going to go down to the red cabin. And so I went down to the red cabin. I think I got a second gun. I don't remember exactly, but I had a gun or two. And then I was heading over to resort, and I had just happened to see. I don't know if the guy was looking at his map or what he was doing, but he was. There's that garage in resort, the
Yes.
big garage. There's
Yep.
that hill beside that garage.
Oh, yeah.
He was just sitting on top of that hill. I don't know what he was doing. He was sitting
Oh.
there. So I got a headshot on him. I was like, ooh, lucky. Boom, headshot. Got his stuff. I went through resort. I think I got some stuff out of resort. It was okay. I used the comm station. I got like one other kill. I don't remember exactly where it was. But on my way through it, I got like at least one more kill. So I was having a decent run, but then I was in the central area. Oh, that's what it was. Like I was in the central area. The timer went off, and there was somebody. I think there was somebody around, and I think that was like, I don't know if it was my second, or I don't know if I got a third kill in that run, but I got into a bit of a waiting match with this guy, and I think I got a kill. But then I didn't make it. I couldn't make it to the exit. I might be mixing two different runs up here, but all I know
Yeah.
is on my decent zero to hero run, I couldn't quite make it to the exit. If I had found some iodine or even some caffeine beforehand, I might have made it out. But it was my first try. It was a decent run. It just didn't quite make it. And then I tried a
Okay.
few others, and yeah, saying if you start in the south or if you start up top, yeah, you're kind of screwed. I can't remember. I don't know if I ever started on top when I did my naked run or my zero to
Mm.
heroes. I think I was lucky and started closer to the bottom, and so I had a few options. Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
That's good.
Viktorsen. But yeah, Viktorsen's not great. Great for loot, and it's just a fantastic map, but a little rough for
Yeah.
these runs for sure.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the different locations. I don't know. Do we have tips? What do we think? What did we learn from doing naked runs?
So, what I would suggest is if you know where the combination lock boxes are,
Yeah,
definitely loot them to get that extra ammo.
yeah. Definitely try to get ammo
Um,
for sure. Yeah,
yeah, and grab all of it.
yeah.
It doesn't
Don't
matter.
be
Like
picky. Yeah,
usually I'll nitpick when I go through a lockbox, but I will definitely grab all of it. Um, I would definitely suggest if you're not right next to like lock container or time vault, like and like I mean like literally spawn right next to it,
yeah.
I would ignore it and maybe give it time and then go and loot it after the fact.
And see if they left a
Um,
gun or something. Yeah,
exactly. Because especially like on some maps like Broadalen, where it's like everything may be far away,
mm-hmm.
you might be able to save yourself. Um, I don't and oh, check out our podcast episode about consumables and where to find them on every map because
Yeah,
you're going to need some heals.
yeah.
So,
Finding the heals can be really helpful. Because well, if you especially if you do it the way I was doing it, where you went in with absolutely nothing.
yeah, yes,
um,
yeah, exactly. Because that is challenging.
mhm.
So you're going to definitely need the heals. So learn the maps. Like that's one of the big things, right, in this game is learn the maps. I see that posted on like Twitter and Reddit and some other places where people are saying like, oh, like there's not enough loot or whatever. It's like you need to learn the maps to know where the stuff is.
Yep.
So definitely learn the maps so you know where the consumables are, the weapon crates. Um, like we tried to do our best for like where the weapon crates can be found, but maybe we missed some.
And
Like
it wasn't
it,
exhaustive, that's for sure. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like we did this under like 2 weeks type thing.
Yeah.
Like naked run's not the my most favorite thing to do, so it's uh, like I'll still do it, but
Yeah.
it's I'm
It's a
trying to
neat
survive right now.
it's a neat challenge, and as one that I'd always before doing this, I'd never really done one.
Oh no,
I'd never did them. It wasn't so redeemable for me or anything like that on my stream.
yeah,
It was like I had no desire to even try them. Like I thought they were interesting, but I didn't want to do it. Now that I've done it a bunch, I'm more comfortable with it, and it's like now I've made it.
Yes.
I've made it redeemable, so people can use
Oh,
channel
nice.
points now. I'm not as scared of them as I used to be after doing
Yeah.
this, which is nice. It makes things a bit more interesting. It gives you
Yeah.
a challenge, and maybe you'll luck out.
Yeah. I might I have like I forget what I called mine, like unarmed warrior or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh, where I bring in like consumables, like I said, booby traps and contact bombs. I'm probably going to add um, a naked run and like have absolutely nothing,
yeah,
because same thing. I'm more comfortable with it now.
yeah.
Um, but I'm trying to think of anything else. Like it was actually fun to do.
It was. It was.
Uh,
It was a neat experiment for us, and I don't know, I had fun doing
yeah,
it. So that's all you can do is as long as you're having fun, keep on doing it. Yeah.
yep, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks. I think that's a good place for us to stop. Thanks for listening. This will be the end of episode 15. Like, share, and subscribe. If you feel like it, we don't mind. It helps us out.
Yeah,
Try to get us a few more numbers. It doesn't hurt, and maybe eventually the devs will notice that and shout us out a little bit. That'd be kind of cool.
yeah.
But yeah,
Maybe we could get someone to come on. Maybe we'll get Zane or Pirate or
yeah,
you
that'd
know
be that'd be kind of cool if we get.
Johnny, or that'd be cool. Like,
Yeah, I would like to talk to them, pick their brains, and I would, if we got somebody like that on, it wouldn't be to just necessarily pick their brains about the game, because just to learn more about them. If we ever got one of
yeah,
them on to talk to them about their experience, not just on Vigor, but in the gaming industry, as a developer, because
yeah,
it's a weird thing. Like when you hear the stories about um game development, right? You hear about the different companies, how some of them treat their employees, right? Like the bigger ones
yeah.
can be kind of scary, like on how hard of a job it can be. Like, and the people doing these jobs,
Very demanding.
they're demanding, but like, they're not just doing it because, for some people, I'm sure there are people out there who are just doing it because it's a job. But I bet you there's
Yeah,
a lot of people doing it because, they love, making games, and they love the
yeah,
whole thing about it, like the playing games and making games. So it's unfortunate when you hear about these big companies that are just terrible to their employees, right? And it's like, oh man, I love playing games, and I just want to support the games that are, made by
yeah,
good companies, but sometimes those big companies make good games. It's like, oh, you're tearing me apart. But yeah, it'd be cool to get some people like that and talk with them. And we may even have some other guests on the podcast too. You never know. It's
yeah.
getting to the point we know a lot of people in the community now, so we might try to get a few in. You never know. See
Hmm.
how it goes, and just have fun with it. But again, thanks for listening, and until next time, stay safe in the Outlands.
Yep.
Yeah, have a good night.
Bye.
Yeah.
I've heard you say you lost your way, lost your way again. You don't see your reflection. Just look around and find it. There's something good. All you need will come to you. I'll never end you still. Take whatever you want. chance and flame up your dream. I know you'll find your way. You must be calm anyway. Grab your chance and flame up your